again with him and Josh Homme. Josh Homme in the story and all of that, he loved those two records, Lust for Life and, The Idiot, so much. But that affected him at about the same time that it affected me as far as like in my lifetime.
Sure.
And I was like 21, 22 years old. And that's something that I carried with me, and that was my life. That was everything that I wanted to aspire to do musically or even in life. Not the drug part of it, but
right.
But it was just, that was the soundtrack of everything that I was, And then I know that he had talked about how that was the same way to him,
Right.
He was like, oh my God, where's everybody else? And I'm paraphrasing, why isn't anybody else listening to this, And this new record, the first 2 seconds, I was already like, yes, this is, my favorite.
Nice.
This is my absolute favorite. There's a lot of bands that went through this entire decade that had a really big, and being a big rock fan, I'm really going to be leaning one side to it,
Absolutely.
And I've seen a lot of great bands. I've listened to a lot of great albums, everything like that, but there's certain ones that have really kind of caught me. Like I said, like a band that's gone through this decade that have done really, really well for themselves is the Black Keys, of course.
Oh, of course.
Whenever they started 2010 off with Brothers, and that's a great record. That's a great, great record. And then El Camino came out after that one, which was awesome anyway. I really, 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 really always have listened to Queens of the Stone Age all the way since, 98 or some shit
Sure.
like that, right? And when Like Clockwork came in, that one hit me at a good time in my life. Villains is a great record too, but at the same time, it's not my favorite, like you said.
Right.
They're both great records, and I think it's a great continuation. And what I love about that band in particular is they are not pigeonholed. They are Queens of the Stone Age no matter what. But at the same time, they change.
Absolutely.
They metamorphosize into something different every time.
And I won't even say evolve, because it's not like an evolution.
No.
It's just a different
it's a change.
Iteration.
Yeah, it's a change. And the revolving lineup, and it has gone somewhere that no other band has really gone before. Now, the only other band that I really almost compare that to would be possibly the Stones, but not in the same way.
No.
Because they did change a lot. They did their hippie shit.
And the Beatles did that too.
And the Beatles did too. Bands like that have Zeppelin was a Led Zeppelin. No matter what you look at.
100%.
100% Led Zeppelin is Led Zeppelin, and everything that they do is badass, but it's, what to expect. The last couple of albums was mainly John Paul Jones anyway, and a lot of organ and everything else. But it was it's not like this, and it's not like Iggy Pop either. Iggy Pop is a change. He'll go through his cold metal phase, and he'll do his goddamn American Caesar, and then he'll do something like New Values, and then you always have that catalog of everything that he's done, and it's such a huge breath of fresh air when you listen to it, just like that post-pop depression record. Now, Eagles of Death Metal came out with a great record, and that was 2015. That was Zipper Down,
right?
Which is a good one all the way through, and they've evolved. They're an evolving band.
Agreed. And
I see them kind of getting better and better and better. They're that party band. They're the funny band. You know what I mean? But Boots Electric, Jesse Hughes is actually really he's turned into something on his own too, which is crazy because most of this music is all helmed or influenced by Josh Homme, which is crazy. I know we talked a lot about Ty Segall. I think that Freedom's Goblin is one of the best ones.
I was actually going to mention that because I was like, you turned me on to this Ty Segall, and
it is a crazy amalgam of all different kinds of sounds, which is pretty awesome. Ghostland Observatory is one of my favorites too. And when I saw them, at first I was like, is this a joke? But then really listened to it, I was like, damn, these guys are really good. Alabama Shakes is another one that I think is another great band that is really kind of kicked ass. And I like that they only really play festivals.
Nice.
It's kind of crazy.
So they're like Fish.
Yeah, kind of. They play festivals with other bands, so I would like to see them personally in a smaller place,
A smaller venue.
Yeah, because they're just really, really good. Then of course, I like Devo came out with their last record at the beginning of this, Something for Everybody, which is a good record, but it's not the old school Devo,
Right. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, I was just going to say, we did get David Bowie's last record.
Yes.
Sad to see him go, of course.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, tying back to my favorite stuff from the decade, his inspiration, him and Tony Visconti, is that his name? The Visconti. He's a producer. They were listening to Kendrick Lamar to Pimp a what is the name of that? Yeah, to Pimp a Butterfly. That was kind of their inspiration for Black Star.
That's crazy because David Bowie's always had his finger on the pulse of everything. Dude,
he is. Add David Bowie to anything, and it's amazing.
Yeah. What other records you got?
Oh, well, that was the only. I had another thought, but I lost it. It's like I've been doing a podcast or something. Sorry about that. But no, I just wanted to mention that because obviously, not necessarily, he passed 2 days after that came out.
I know.
So, sucks, happens, but at least he left us with something, that, he was passionate about.
And I think that record was a big shadow over Iggy's record.
I can see
because
that.
They came out about the same time. And I think Iggy's record really killed it that year. And really destroyed everything else that was around it and has since it's come out. But Bowie dying, I'm not going to say that it really kind of killed his chances, but I see.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see.
It was such a pillar type figure falling down, and Iggy's still going.
Right. No, 100%.
That's the thing that got me. I was like, damn, Iggy's not going to win a Grammy this year. You know what I mean? It's going to be Bowie.
Yeah. But, in the past, though, it seemed like everybody wanted to work with Bowie.
Yeah, who didn't?
Yeah.
Come on. If you could work with David Bowie, why would you not?
Like I said, everything that he was on, he made better.
Yeah.
100%.
Everything that he did. Yeah. And Stevie Ray Vaughan is a direct, he was a badass anyway, but he got into the limelight because of Let's Dance,
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is really cool. I've listened to a few good independent bands that still aren't major label bands, like the Bad Signs. The Bad Signs have a record called Black Magic Moments, which is really kind of funky and it's not like funk music, but it's like, I don't know, more ethereal type. It's hard to describe. If you just look it up, Black Magic Moments. The Black Furs is a band out of Argentina that was really good. Buzz Rodeo over in Germany. Shout out to Germany. Friends of the show. Buzz,
number one fans from there.
One of the guys from the band I'm Facebook friends with, and he's really cool. We always talk about like Mission to Burma, things like that. High Priestess was another one. God, there's just so many really, really good records that came out. My second favorite one has got to be the Breeders. Last one that came out, because Jesus Christ, it was the Breeders, and it really kicked ass. And seeing how good that they really are live and in person it was a really cool thing to see, know. And then seeing one of those bands that I grew up with, hitting those years, just like with Iggy Pop, there's those different things, there's different times. I was trying to think. I've seen Morrissey twice now. I've seen Iggy twice now. And then I've seen the Eagles of Death Metal twice now.
Wow.
And yeah, it's weird that I've seen Morrissey twice. It's fucked up. But Morrissey's badass.
This decade, I think the biggest things I saw, I went to a Queen of the Stone Age concert in St. Louis.
Nice.
In a smaller venue, which I really liked.
Bastard.
And then I saw Chevelle and like several other bands. Volbeat was like before they got popular. That was pretty cool. Of course, I went to the Rolling Stones with you.
Thank you. Yeah, that was
kind of a big deal.
Might be their last tour ever.
Yeah, gone the way of the Bowie.
Well,
I feel bad for even saying that now.
I think my favorite like independent band that I saw play before the Breeders was Flasher. Flasher's out of DC, and they are such an incredible band for a 3-piece. They're humble guys and gal. They put on one hell of a fucking show. And everything that they do in the future, I hope, is just as good or better.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them evolve. I want to see them stay on the same wavelength and just kick ass like that. Besides Imperial Teen, I think they're really kind of intertwined. And I even told everybody that was in that band, I was like, have you guys heard Imperial Teen? Because they're one of my favorite bands too.
Know this.
And I was like, have you heard them? And they're like, who's that? I'm like, oh my God, you guys got to go on tour with those guys. That'd be fucking awesome.
It's Brock's ultimate tour.
Yeah. Oh, the Breeders, Imperial Teen, and Flasher. All on one bill. Holy shit. It would fucking blow my mind. You know? I'd be there in a heartbeat. There's a lot of albums that I really kind of got into in this last decade too, like The Cure, Disintegration, Deep Purple, Machine Head, which that was always there. These are all there. You know, The Doors, Waiting for the Sun was a great one. Eels of Death Metal, Hard On, I got into about this, you know, probably about 2010. Just could not put it down. Electric Wizard, Dope Throne, really fucking good record.
I know
it's like stoner rock.
Okay.
You know, a lot of weed rock. Fu Manchu, Godzilla's Eating Dust. Fucking, I can't put that one down sometimes. I go through it. Glass Candy, Beatbox, came out in 2007. Joe Strummer and the Mescaleros, Streetcore, Suicide 1977, Mission of Burma, every one of them. Like, right. I really kind of hit them at the beginning of this decade. Patti Smith Horses is really good too. That's another one that I kind of stuck with a lot. The Rolling Stones, Sticky Fingers, of course. Again. You know, and then Sleep. God, I didn't really listen to Sleep that much, but then I just really got into them in the last, like, 2 years, like, a lot, right. You know? God, who else? Man, I think that was really most of everything that I really, really listened to a lot.
Well, I would say the other thing that I listened to a lot, and mostly because of my wife, which is awesome. She's an awesome person. Since we're getting bonus points tonight.
Yeah,
for
bonus points to love our wives.
Mention our loving our wives. But Regina Spektor was something I really got into because just taking trips with my wife, she really likes her a lot. Nice. Even though we were in New York and she had a Broadway performance that we didn't get to go to Chicago instead.
You went to Cats?
No. That and like Lana Del Rey.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Born to Die was like a badass record.
Yeah. And Fiona Apple had a new album out this decade.
Really?
Yeah. It was her, The Idol. I don't know. It's a really long title. Definitely the most Fiona Apple song.
The most Fiona of all Fionas.
Yeah, it's pretty Fiona Apple. But it's good. It's good. It's different than what I would, put in.
Yeah. Like Lana Del Rey. I had an old coworker, Jeremy Brevik.
Friend of the show,
Jeremy Brevik. He was all about Lana Del Rey. Like that's all he talked about. Lana Del Rey.
And then, of course, having daughters, Billie Eilish plays a lot.
No, never gonna listen.
It plays a lot in my house.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
4 daughters. I'm just saying.
Yeah, rock music in this last decade is fine pickings.
Yeah, well, that's again when we were going through here. This is why I had such a hard time. Like like I said, there was a few I could have picked out, but they weren't necessarily my favorite by those bands. That. Not that they were bad. Just it wasn't something that blew my mind.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot. And, it was funny because I was like looking through a couple lists and like everybody's list was like Arctic Monkeys, Arcade Fire. I'm like, it's not fucking rock music, man.
It's not.
I don't care what you say.
Arcade Fire is pretty good.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
but it's not rock and roll
your
music.
Top 20 rock albums of 2000 of this decade. And I'm like, no.
No, we need some fucking.
And I'm not saying there's anything
music.
wrong with that. I'm just saying there needs to be more rock and roll.
Correct. And I think we'll see a resurgence again.
Of course, it's all cyclical.
Since Pete Townsend's talking shit about the guitar, saying nobody can play anything new on it. Fuck you, Pete Townsend.
Yeah.
Who? All right. Are we ready to hit the bread and butter of this podcast.
We're ready to butter our biscuits on this one, buddy.
I'll let you start this one out.
Okay.
Because I have a shitload of movies.
So I kind of broke mine down by genre. So I did like my favorite horror movie was Hereditary.
Heredity.
I can almost talk. I really like that movie. Crazy ass movie. Ari Aster.